everyone, and welcome to week 2 of Level 1. This is Natalie, here to teach the second lesson. I hope everyone is having a nice week. If you have any questions about this lesson or would like to introduce yourself, please email communityell34@gmail.com. All right, I want to start every week with a review from last week's lesson to make sure that we're building off of what we learn each week. You can answer these questions by writing them down in a notebook, or you can just pause the video and say your answers out loud. Question 1, I am from the United States. What country are you from? Question 2, how do people greet each other in the country you are from? In the United States, we shake hands. Question 3, what is hard or difficult about living in the United States? Question 4, what is easy about living in the United States? So pause the video and answer these questions, and then we will continue on to today's topic. Today, we will be talking about jobs. There are 4 learning objectives: name common jobs, talk about your job and where you work, share contact information, and ask questions about jobs. All right, I will start with showing some pictures of the vocabulary words, and we will answer the questions: where do the people in the pictures work? And what jobs do they have? Slide 1 shows a restaurant. Picture 1 shows a cook. Picture 2 is a server. And picture 3 is a manager. Again, these 3 people work in a restaurant. Picture 1 shows a cook. The cook prepares food. Picture 2 shows a server. A server serves food. And picture 3 shows a manager. The manager organizes the entire restaurant. All right, now it's your turn. Where do the 3 people in this picture work? What job does the man in picture 1 have? What job does the man in picture 2 have? And what job does the woman in picture 3 have? We'll go back for the answers. This is a restaurant. The man in picture 1 is a cook. The man in picture 2 is a server. And the woman in picture 3 is a manager. All right, now we have 3 more pictures. This is inside of a hospital. Picture 4 shows a doctor. Picture 5 shows a nurse. And picture 6 shows a custodian. Again, this is showing a hospital. Picture 4 is a doctor. Picture 5 is a nurse. And picture 6 is a custodian. All right, now it's your turn. Where do the people in these 3 pictures work? What job does the woman in picture 4 have? What job does the woman in picture 5 have? What job does the woman in picture, or does the man in picture 6 have? All right, we'll go back for the answers. These 3 pictures show people that work in a hospital. Picture 4 shows a doctor. The woman in picture 5 works as a nurse. And the man in picture 6 is a custodian. All right, now we are inside a store. Picture 7 shows a cashier. Picture 8 shows a sales assistant. And picture 9 shows a driver. Again, this is at a store. Picture 7 shows a cashier. Picture 8 shows a sales assistant. And picture 9 shows a driver. Now it's your turn. Where do the people in these three pictures work? What job does the woman in picture 7 have? What job does the man in picture 8 have? And what job does the man in picture 9 have? All right, we'll look at the answers. These three pictures show people that work for a store. Picture 7 shows a cashier. The man in picture 8 is a sales assistant. And the man in picture 9 is a driver. All right, pictures 10 and 11 show two people that work in an office. Picture 10 shows an office assistant, and picture 11 shows an accountant. Again, this is an office. Picture 10 is an office assistant, and the woman in picture 11 is an accountant. Now it's your turn. Where do the people in pictures 10 and 11 work? What job does the woman in picture 10 have? What job does the woman in picture 11 have? All right, now we're looking at I forgot to give you the answers. Here we go, I'm back here. So both the woman in picture 10 and the woman in picture 11 work in an office. The woman in picture 10 is an office assistant, and the woman in picture 11 is an accountant. All right, pictures 12 and 13 show a construction site. The man in picture 13 is an electrician, and the man in picture 12 is a painter. Again, the men in pictures 12 and 13 work at a construction site. Picture 13 shows an electrician, and picture 12 shows a painter. Now it's your turn. Where do the men in these pictures work? What job does the man in picture 13 have? What job does the man in picture 12 have? Now we will look back at the answers. This is a construction site. The man in picture 13 works as an electrician, and the man in picture 12 works as a painter. All right, now we are showing people that work in a home or just outside of a home. Picture 14 shows a homemaker. Picture 15 shows a child care worker. And picture 16 shows a landscaper. Again, these are people that work at a home. Picture 14 is a homemaker. Picture 15 is a child care worker. And picture 16 is a landscaper. Now I want to ask, what job do you have? If you are near other people, ask them what job they have. Practice writing it down. All right, now you're going to listen as I read and then answer these two questions. What is Emilio's job? Where does Nick work? Nick and Emilio are neighbors. Nick is a construction worker. Emilio is a nurse. Nick works at a construction site. Emilio works at a hospital. I'll read it one more time. Nick and Emilio are neighbors. Nick is a construction worker. Emilio is a nurse. Nick works at a construction site. Emilio works at a hospital. So the first question is, what is Emilio's job? The correct answer is that Emilio is a nurse. Question 2, Where does Nick work? The correct answer is that Nick works at a construction site. Now pause the video and practice reading this to yourself. And I will read it aloud one more time so you can hear. Nick and Emilio are neighbors. Nick is a construction worker. Emilio is a nurse. Nick works at a construction site. Emilio works at a hospital. All right, now which picture shows Emilio? So we said Emilio is a nurse. Which picture shows a nurse? I would pick this picture. So this one is Emilio, and then the picture on the left is Nick. All right, now we're going to practice pronunciation. These arrows show when my pitch goes up and when my pitch goes down. So you can repeat after me. What do you do? What's your name? I'm a student. I'm Peter. I'll go through these one more time slowly. Remember to repeat after me. What do you do? What's your name? I'm a student. I'm Peter. All right, so notice for these first 4 examples, the pitch goes down at the end of the sentence. Now we're going to see 2 examples where the pitch goes up at the end of the sentence. Are you a student? Is he a cook? I'll say them one more time and you can repeat after me. Are you a student? Is he a cook? All right, and so in general, in WH questions, so that is what, where, when, and why. And in statements, the pitch goes down at the end. For example, where are you going? I'm going to the store. And then we had the other 4 examples. What do you do? I'm a student. What's your name? I'm Peter. So the pitch goes down at the end of the sentence. In questions that do not begin with the words what, where, when, and why, the pitch goes up at the end. For example, how are you? Can you please repeat the question? And you had 2 other examples here. Are you a student? Is he a cook? All right, so just one more time. In WH questions, like what, where, when, and why, and statements, the pitch goes down at the end. For example, where are you going? I am going to the store. In questions that do not begin with what, where, when, and why, the pitch goes up at the end. For example, how are you? Can you please repeat the question? All right, now we have some conversation to practice. I am going to read the conversations out loud, and then you can pause the video and practice these. What do you do? I'm a homemaker. Really? I'm a homemaker too. And I'm a nurse. Oh, that's interesting. So that was looking at the first 2 pictures. The 2 words we had were homemaker and nurse. Homemaker And I'll read it one more time. What do you do? I'm a homemaker. Really? I'm a homemaker too. And I'm a nurse. Oh, that's interesting. All right, let's look at the next two pictures. Now we have a server on the left and a painter on the right. And I will read the conversation out loud. What do you do? I'm a server. Really? I'm a server too. And I'm a painter. Oh, that's interesting. All right, I'll read that conversation one more time. What do you do? I'm a server. Really? I'm a server too. And I'm a painter. Oh, that's interesting. All right, now we have the last conversation. So this is going to be an electrician on the left and a driver on the right. What do you do? I'm an electrician. Really? I'm an electrician too. And I'm a driver. Oh, that's interesting. I'll read the conversation one more time. What do you do? I'm an electrician. Really? I'm an electrician too. And I'm a driver. Oh, that's interesting. So now please pause the video and practice speaking through these conversations. All right, and now I just want to remind you what singular and plural means. Singular means one, so one elephant or one present. Plural means more than one, so 3 presents or 2 elephants. Usually when things are plural, we add an S to the end. I also want to review a versus an. So you'll use a or a when there's a consonant and an when there is a vowel. But both of them go with things that are singular or nouns that are singular. So for example, he is a cook. She is a doctor. So you're talking about one person. And so you need to use the word a before the noun. Here's a review of what vowels and consonants are. In English, A, E, I, O, U are considered vowels, and the rest of the letters are consonants. You use a before a word that starts with a consonant, such as a cat or a dog, and use an before a word that starts with a vowel, such as an elephant and an umbrella. All right, so now we're going to get some practice using an versus a. So we'll circle the correct answer here. Number 1, that's Fang. She is server. Would we say she's a server or she's an server? We would say she's a server because server is a consonant. It starts with a consonant. All right, number 2, that's Carlos. He's doctor. Would you say a or an? Here you would say a because doctor starts with a consonant. Number 3, that's Muhammad. He's office assistant. Would you use a or an before office assistant? This one, we're going to use an because office assistant starts with an O, which is a vowel. All right, number 4, that's Jenny. She's electrician. Would you say a or an before electrician? For this one, we would say an, because electrician starts with an E, which is a vowel. Let's try number 5. That's Akinyi. She's cook. Would you use a or an? Here we would use a because cook starts with a consonant. It's a C. And our last one, that's Michael. He's custodian. Would we say a or an before custodian? Here we would say a because custodian starts with a C, which is a consonant. All right. I'll read through these sentences one more time, just so you're hearing the correct use of a and an. That's Fang. She's a server. That's Carlos. He's a doctor. That's Mohammed. He's an office assistant. That's Jenny. She's an electrician. That's Akinyi. She's a cook. That's Michael. He's a custodian. All right, now we have 4 more sentences to practice. So we're going to write a or an on the line. Maria is childcare worker. Will we say a or an? Here we would say a. Maria is a childcare worker because childcare worker starts with a consonant. C is a consonant. So we would say a. Let's try number 2. Eric is manager. Would you say a or an? Here we would say a because manager starts with an M, which is a consonant. All right, number 3, Mia is driver. Would we say a or an before driver? We would say a driver because driver starts with D, which is a consonant. And finally, Samantha is office assistant. Would we say a or an for this sentence? This one would be an because office assistant starts with a vowel. I'll read the sentences one more time. Maria is a childcare worker. Eric is a manager. Mia is a driver. Samantha is an office assistant. Now I want to ask you, what job do you have? Do you use an or a before saying your job? For example, I'm a medical student, so I use a before saying my job. All right, now we're going to talk about singular versus plural. So singular, like I showed in that picture, is when you have one thing, and plural is when you have more than one thing. And in general, we add an S to make a noun plural in English. For example, John is a server. If you're going to add a second person, you would say John and Linda are servers. So let's practice with this. We have number 1 showing Bob is a nurse. Number 2 is a landscaper. So we could say Rosa is a landscaper. All right, number 3 shows 3 people. Jill, May, and I are. So do we use a or an when we're talking about 3 people? No, we don't need a or an, but we do have to add an S to the end of the word. So we can say Jill, Mai, and I are servers. All right, and number 4 is very similar. They're drivers. So we don't use a or an because we're talking about 2 people, and we add an S at the end. So I also typed this out here. I'll read all of the sentences one more time. Bob is a nurse. Rosa is, this should be Rosa is a landscaper because it's one person. Jill, May, and I are servers. They're drivers. Listen as I read the phone numbers below and circle the number that you hear. Number 1, 212-960-5334. Number 1, 212-960-5334. Did I say choice A or choice B? This one was choice A. 212-960-5334. All right, now we'll try number 2. 619-464-2093. I'll read that one more time. 619-464-2093. Is that choice A or choice B? This one is choice B. 619-464-2093. All right, we'll try number 3. 305-576-1169. Second time. 305-576-1169. Did I read choice A or choice B? This one was choice A. 305-576-1169. All right, let's try number 4. 323-865-4194. Sorry, 4191. I'll read that one again. 323-865-4191. Did I read choice A or choice B? This one was choice A. 323-865-4191. All right, number 5. 214-847-3126. Again, 214-847-3126. Did I read choice A or choice B? This one was choice B. And this one's really hard. Look at how similar 7 and 1 look. But you gotta look very closely. And it's 214-847-3126. All right, finally, I'll do number 6. 773-399-2114. Again, 773-399-2114. So this one is choice B. And that's because it's 9 right here. 773-399-2114. All right, now we're going to talk about email. So 2 ways to communicate with work are using the phone and using email. So I want to ask everyone, When do you use email? And do you use email for work? You can pause the video and write down your answers. All right, now I'm going to read an email address out loud, and you are going to decide whether I am reading A or B. Dan Silver at ccmail.edu. Dan Silver at ccmail.edu. Is that choice A or choice B? This one is going to be choice A because of the S in silver. So I said Dan Silver at ccmail.edu, whereas choice B is Dan's Ilver at ccmail.edu. So you have to look at where the period is here. All right, we'll try number 2. gsims at hmail.com. gsims at hmail.com. So this one should be A, but my apologies, I made it a little confusing. So I should have read A as Dan Silver at ccmail.edu. So again, A is Dan Silver at ccmail.edu. 1B is Dan's Ilver at ccmail.edu. Again, that's Dan's Ilver at ccmail.edu. All right, and number 2, the correct answer was gsims at hmail.com. And the incorrect answer was g.sims at hmail.com. So again, this one is g.sims at hmail.com. All right, let's try number 3. Decide if I am reading A or B. T. Lopez 715 at gmail.com. T. Lopez 715 at gmail.com. Is this A or B? This one is going to be choice B because it's 715, not 719. All right, last one. jin.wu at numail.edu. jin.wu at numail.edu. Did I read A or B? This one is A. So A again is jin.wu at numail.edu. And choice B is jin.hu at numail.edu. Again, choice B is jin.hu at numail.edu. All right, now you are going to listen to some voicemails and you're going to write down the person's name, the workplace, the job, and their phone number. So these are 3 people calling to learn about a job. This is voicemail number 1. Hello, this is Nina. I am calling Memorial Hospital to learn more about the job as a nurse. Please call me back at 581-775-9996. Again, my number is 581-775-9996. I'll give you a minute to write down your answer, and then I will read the voicemail one more time. Hello, this is Nina. I'm calling Memorial Hospital about the job as a nurse. please call me back at 581-775-9996. Again, my number is 581-775-9996. Thank you. All right, take a minute to finish what you're writing, and then we'll listen for voicemail 2. Hello, this is Gregory. I'm calling the hardware store about the job as a cashier. Please call me back at 992-345-6695. Again, my number is 992-345-6695. Thank you. Take a minute to write down what you heard. And then listen one more time. Hello, this is Gregory. I'm calling the hardware store about a cashier job. Please call me back at 992-345-6695. Again, my number is 992-345-6695. Thank you. Write down what you heard, and then we'll go on to voicemail 3. Hello, this is Sana. I'm calling Sally's Toy Store about the job as a manager. Please call me back at 728-993-4845. Again, my number is 728-993-4845. Thank you. All right, I'll read that voicemail one more time. Hello, this is Sana. I'm calling Sally's Toy Store about the manager job. Please call me back at 728-993-4845. Again, my number is 728-993-4845. Thank you. All right, take a minute to write down your answers, and then we'll go over them. All right, so the first voicemail was Nina. She was calling Memorial Hospital about the job as a nurse, and her number was 581-775-9996. Again, voicemail 1 was Nina calling Memorial Hospital for a job as a nurse, and her number was 581-775-9996. Voicemail number 2 was Gregory calling the hardware store about a job as a cashier, and his number was 992-345-6695. Again, voicemail 2 was Gregory calling the hardware store about a cashier job, and his number was 992-345-6695. Finally, voicemail 3 was Sana. She was calling Sally's Toy Store about the manager job, and her number was 728-993-4845. Again, voicemail 3 was Sana. She was calling Sally's Toy Store about the manager job, and her number was 728-993-4845. All right, now we have more conversations to practice. I will read each conversation once, and then please pause the video and practice reading these conversations yourself. Who's that? Is she a teacher? No, she's not. She's a student, and she's a cashier. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm a sales assistant. All right, so that was conversation 1. I'll read each of them twice. So conversation 1 again. Who's that? Is she a teacher? No, she's not. She's not. She's a student, and she's a cashier. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm a sales assistant. All right, now I'll do conversation 2. Who's that? Is he a teacher? No, he's not. He's a student. And he's an electrician. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm a painter. All right, I'll read conversation 2 one more time. Who's that? Is he a teacher? No, he's not. He's a student and he's an electrician. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm a painter. All right, third conversation. Who's that? Is she a teacher? No, she's not. She's a student and she's a nurse. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm an accountant. All right, I'll read that one more time. Who's that? Is she a teacher? No, she's not. She's a student and she's a nurse. Oh, that's interesting. And what do you do? I'm an accountant. All right, so pause the video and practice this conversation out loud. And also throughout the week, practice asking people about their jobs and where they work. The best way to learn and practice English is to use it. So try talking as much as you can and using the vocabulary words that you learn each week. Now we're going to talk about grammar. Yes, no questions with short answers. So yes, no questions include, are you a teacher? Is he a teacher? Is she a teacher? Are you teachers? And are they teachers? So again, are you a teacher? Is he a teacher? Is she a teacher? Are you teachers? Are they teachers? And then yes, no questions have short answers. So these answers could be, yes, I am. Yes, he is. Yes, she is. Yes, we are. Yes, they are. So notice when the question word is, then the answer is going to be using is. When you use are with you and they, then the answer also uses are. But when you ask, are you a teacher? Because the pronoun changes to I, or the subject changes to I, you're actually going to say, yes, I am, even though in the question, it said are. So I think it makes sense. Is he a teacher? You would say, yes, he is. Is she a teacher? Yes, she is. Are you teachers? Yes, we are. Are they teachers? Yes, they are. But the one that's a little bit harder is, are you a teacher? Yes, I am. So remember that. And then we'll go through the negative answers. No, I'm not. Yes, no, he's not, or no, he isn't. No, she's not, or no, she isn't. No, we're not, or no, we aren't. No, they're not, or no, they aren't. And he's not and he isn't, those mean the same thing. They're both negative. It's just two different ways to say it. So I will read all of these one more time. No, I'm not. No, he's not. No, he isn't. No, she's not. No, she isn't. No, we're not. No, we aren't. No, they're not. No, they aren't. All right, now I have these words together, and you're going to use these words to form yes, no questions. So we have Jane, a, doctor, and is. So how can we make a question with that? You can make this, is Jane a doctor? Let's look at number 2. Server, she, is. how can we make a question with these words? You could say, is she a server? Now I would like you to pause the video and try answering the next 4 on your own. And then I will go through the answers. So please pause the video and try to answer these questions. All right, and now I will give you the answers. So we already said 1 and 2. So 1 was, is Jane a doctor? 2, is she a server? 3, they are drivers becomes, are they drivers? Are cook you becomes, are you a cook? Is landscaper he a becomes, is he a landscaper? And managers you are becomes, are you managers? And I'll just read all these questions one more time so you can hear them. Is Jane a doctor? Is she a server? Are they drivers? Are you a cook? Is he a landscaper? Are you managers? Now we're going to look at the pictures and complete the conversation. So number 1 is already completed. Is she an accountant? Yes, she is. All right, what do you think you would say for number 2? So we have 2 people. So we can say, are they drivers? And then, no, they're not. Because if you look at the picture, they are painters. They are not drivers. All right, let's do number 3 together. So it's 1 person. So we can say, is she an electrician? And then it looks like she is. So we can say, yes, she is. Please pause the video and try to answer the next 3 questions. And then I will go through the answers. Number 4, is he a nurse? Yes, he is. Are they landscapers? Because there are 2 people. Yes, they are. And then, is she a server? No, she's not. What do you think she is? If she's not a server, what is she? She is a cook. Because the cook is the person who prepares the food, and the server is the one who serves it. All right, we have 3 more words. These are people that work in a hospital. So picture 1 is a man who transports patients, so he moves them between rooms. Do you know what job this is? This is an orderly. So we would say he's an orderly. All right, number 2, this is a woman who does not have her nursing license, but she is helping patients with basic care. So what do you think she is? She is a CNA, and CNA stands for Certified Nursing Assistant. So somebody who helps the nurses. Finally, we're looking at a group of older adults. So where might they be living? We can say they live in a nursing home. All right, so just to read these one more time. He's an orderly. She's a CNA, or she's a certified nursing assistant. And they live in a nursing home. Now we have a reading, but first we're going to look at the questions so that you can think about the questions while we are going through the reading. More than blank million people work in healthcare in the US. You need many years of school to be a blank. Blank do office work in hospitals. There will be blank jobs in healthcare in the future. The chart shows blank in the US. There are blank nurses in the US. There are more nurses in the US than blank. Most nurses make about blank a year. All right, we'll read these one more time. More than blank million people work in healthcare in the US. You need many years of school to be blank. Blank do office work in hospitals. There will be blank jobs in healthcare in the future. The chart shows blank in the US. There are blank nurses in the US. There are more nurses in the US than blank. Most nurses make about blank a year. All right, now listen to the reading and try to read along. Many people, or healthcare jobs in the US. Many people in the US work in healthcare. How many? More than 12 million. The biggest number of jobs in healthcare is for nurses. They work in hospitals, doctors' offices, schools, and nursing homes. You need a lot of training to be a nurse. Nurses go to school for many years. That is not true for all jobs in healthcare. For example, for some jobs, a high school diploma is enough. For example, you can be an orderly or a CNA. CNA means Certified Nursing Assistant. Most orderlies get training on the job. CNAs take a training course and an exam. The US has more than 1.5 million CNAs and orderlies. They work in hospitals and nursing homes. They need to be strong because sometimes they lift patients out of bed. They also help people eat, wash, and get dressed. Hospitals and nursing homes need other kinds of workers too. They need cooks, housekeepers, custodians, and electricians. They need clerks to do office work. Healthcare in the US is growing. It will need more workers in the future. Now we're looking at the table. What's the job? Sales assistant. How many people do it? 4.5 million. How much money do they make a year? About $25,000. Cashier. 3.3 million people. About $20,000 per year. Food preparer and server, 3.0 million, about $19,000 per year. Office assistant, 2.8 million people, about $30,000 per year. Registered nurse, 2.7 million people, about $69,000 per year. I will read the passage one more time, and then we will answer the questions. Healthcare jobs in the US. Many people in the US work in healthcare. How many? More than 12 million. The biggest number of jobs in healthcare is for nurses. They work in hospitals, doctors' offices, schools, and nursing homes. You need a lot of training to be a nurse. Nurses go to school for many years. That is not true for all jobs in healthcare. For some jobs, a high school diploma is enough. For example, you can be an orderly or a CNA. CNA means Certified Nursing Assistant. Most orderlies get training on the job. CNAs take a training course and an exam. The US has more than 1.5 million CNAs and orderlies. They work in hospitals and nursing homes. They need to be strong because sometimes they lift patients out of bed. They also help people eat, wash, or get dressed. Hospitals and nursing homes need other kinds of workers too. They need cooks, housekeepers, custodians, and electricians. They need clerks to do office work. Healthcare in the US is growing. It will need more workers in the future. Top jobs in the US. What's the job? How many people do it? And how much money do they make? Sales assistant, 4.5 million. they make about $25,000 per year. Cashier, 3.3 million people, they make about $20,000 per year. Food preparer and server, 3.0 million people, they make about $19,000 per year. Office assistant, 2.8 million people, they make about $30,000 per year. Registered nurse, 2.7 million people, they make about $69,000 per year. All right, so let's try and answer the questions. Number 1, more than blank million people work in healthcare in the US. Do you remember this answer from the reading? I think it is 12 million. Let's double check. Yep, more than 12 million. All right, number 2, you need many years of school to be A, a CNA, B, an orderly, or C, a nurse. This one is going to be C, a nurse. So nurses need many years of school. CNAs go to CNA school for about a month, and then they can take a test to get their license. And orderlies usually get on-the-job training. So all they need is a high school diploma. Number 3, blank do office work in hospitals. Would this be A, clerks, B, housekeepers, or C, electricians? This is going to be A, clerks. 4, there will be blank jobs in healthcare in the future. Will there be more, the same number, or not so many? This is going to be A. There will be more jobs in healthcare in the future. And we can go back and look at that. Healthcare in the US is growing. It will need more workers in the future. All right, I'll go through the questions one more time. More than 12 million people work in healthcare in the US. You need many years of school to be a nurse. Clerks do office work in hospitals. There will be more jobs in healthcare in the future. So now we will try these other 4 questions. The chart shows blank in the US. A, the jobs with the most workers, B, who makes the most money, or C, the best jobs. So do you remember what the chart showed us? It showed A, the jobs with the most workers. And we can go back and see top jobs in the US. So that's those with the most workers. All right, question 2. There are blank nurses in the US. Did they say 2.7 million, 7 million, or 12 million? If you're not sure, we can double check. So it won't be 12 million because that's the number of total healthcare workers. It says the biggest number of jobs in healthcare is for nurses. And we have to look down at the chart to get how many people do it. 2.7 million. All right, let's try number 3. There are more nurses in the US than A, cashiers, B, office assistants, or C, doctors. Now, this is a tricky one because the reading did not say anything about doctors. But if we look at the chart, we can see that there are more sales assistants and cashiers than there are registered nurses. So by process of elimination, we know that choice A and choice B is not correct. And therefore, the correct answer must be doctors. All right, and the last question also comes from that chart. Most nurses make about blank per year. Do you think it's 39,000, 69,000, or 89,000? This is going to be B, 69,000, which we can see on the chart one last time. How much money do they make in a year? About $69,000. All right, I'll read this one more time. The chart shows the jobs with the most US workers in the US. There are 2.7 million nurses in the US. There are more nurses in the US than doctors. Most nurses make about $69,000 a year. And that's it. All right, now we have fill in the blank. More than 12 million people in the US work in one. Is this going to be CNA, healthcare, nurses, or training? From the reading, we can remember this is healthcare. The biggest number of those jobs are for, and again in the reading, we saw nurses, because nurses can work so many different places. They can work in doctors' offices, hospitals, schools. They need a lot of, so do they need a lot of CNA or a lot of training? This one is going to be training. So nurses need a lot of training, but you can be a, and what is this last one? CNA, certified nursing assistant, or an orderly after you finish high school. There are many other jobs in healthcare too. All right, here's a few more conversations to create. I'll do the first one first and go through all of them. And then please pause the video and practice them yourself. What do you do? I'm a carpenter. Really? Where do you work? I work at a construction site on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. I'll read each 2 times. What do you do? I'm a carpenter. Really? Where do you work? I work at a construction site on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. All right, number 2. What do you do? I'm a caregiver. Really? Where do you work? I work at a nursing home on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. I'll read number 2 a second time. What do you do? I'm a caregiver. Really? Where do you work? I work at a nursing home on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. All right, number 3. What do you do? I'm an assembly line worker. Really? Where do you work? I work at a factory on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. All right, number 3, one more time. What do you do? I'm an assembly line worker. Really? Where do you work? I work at a factory on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. And finally, number 4. What do you do? I'm a stock clerk. Really? Where do you work? I work at a supermarket on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. What do you do? I'm a stock clerk. Really? Where do you work? I work at a supermarket on Main Street. Oh, that's nice. All right, so please pause the video and practice these conversations. And a little bit more grammar. So this is the simple present affirmative using the verbs live and work. I live, I work. You live, you work. We live, we work. They live, they work. He lives, he works. She lives, she works. So when you have the singular third person, so he or she, you're going to add an S at the end of live and work. So for the verbs, you're going to add an S at the end for what's called the singular third person, which is he, she, or the name of one other person. All right, so now we're just going to circle the correct answer. Leonardo at the grocery store. We say work or works. So Leonardo, that's the same as saying he, which is when we need to add the S. So we can say Leonardo works at the grocery store. Number 2, you at a construction site. We say you work or you works. This is you work. You work at a construction site. Number 3, Andrea in California. Will we say live or lives? So Andrea is just like saying she. So we would say she lives in California or Andrea lives in California. They in an office. Will we say work or works? So they is the third person, but it's multiple people. So we can say they work in an office. All right, number 5, I in New Orleans. Do we say I live or I lives? This one is going to be live. I live in New Orleans. Next, Esperanza at the hospital. Will we say work or works? Esperanza is the singular third person, so we would say works. And then the last example, she at the school. Will we say she works or she work? This is the singular third person, so we would say she works at the school. I'll read them all one more time so you hear the correct answers. Leonardo works at the grocery store. You work at a construction site. Andrea lives in California. They work in an office. I live in New Orleans. Esperanza works at the hospital. She works at the school. All right, and now we're going to look at these IDs and then answer the questions. The directions say, look at the ID cards, complete the sentences, use the verbs in parentheses, and write the jobs. So we can see number 1. Ooh, we'll read the cards first. So General Hospital, Helen Lamb, nurse. General Hospital, Helen Lamb, nurse. Luis Mendoza, accountant, Andrews accounting. Luis Mendoza, accountant, Andrews accounting. Nadif Fall, accountant, Andrews accounting. Nadif Fall, accountant, Andrews accounting. All right, now number 1. Helen Lamb is a, what job does she have? She is a nurse. She, we say live or lives? She lives in Los Angeles. And then work or works? She works at General Hospital. Number 2, Luis Mendoza and Nadif Fall. Will we say is or are? We'd say are because it's 2 people. So Luis Mendoza and Nadif Fall are. And then what is their job? We can see it on the badge. They are accountants. And they, will we say live or lives? For this one, since it's they as the subject, we would say live in Tampa and then work or works. We can say they work for Andrew's accounting. So I can read everything one more time. Helen Lamb is a nurse. She lives in Los Angeles. She works at General Hospital. Luis Mendoza and Nadi Fall are accountants. They live in Tampa. They work for Andrew's accounting. All right, so now we're going to complete a reading and then answer 4 questions. The 4 questions are, what is your friend's name? Where does the friend live? What does the friend do? And where does the friend work? So again, what is your friend's name? Where does the friend live? What does the friend do? Where does the friend work? So here's the reading. It's written by Tim Lee, titled My Friend. Sam Lin is my friend. He lives in Texas. He is a custodian. He works at a hospital. Again, this is called My Friend, and it is written by Tim Lee. Sam Lin is my friend. He lives in Texas. He is a custodian. He works at a hospital. So now let's answer the questions. So what was the friend's name? Do you remember? It's in the first sentence. He says, Sam Lin is my friend. So Sam Lin is the friend's name. Where does the friend live? That's in the second sentence. He lives in Texas. So we've answered Sam Lin, Texas. What does the friend do? That is sentence 3. He is a custodian. And where does the friend work? It's question or answer number 4 in sentence 4. He works at a hospital. So Sam Lin, who lives in Texas, works as a custodian, and he works at the hospital. All right, so now for your homework, you're going to complete the same kind of writing assignment below. So you can say your friend's name, where they live, what they do for a job, and where they work. And you can just write it in your notebook. You can email if you have questions. Great, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful in learning some English. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you.